Dear all, welcome to the playlist of Training on Competitive Examination. In this session, I'll be discussing the most important previous year question which are repeated during electrical inspectorate examination. If you go through this session, you will understand what type of questions will be asked in the upcoming examination. You will be getting a very good idea. So you can visit my description box of my channel. In that, I have given the link of previous video which I already prepared and already been uploaded. Okay, you can go through that particular video. For your information, I have put up the syllabus for power system and you can go through that and brush up the things which you already learned and you can make a separate notes. Let us move on to the first question. In case of a three-phase short circuits in a system, the power fed into the system is mostly active. We can see the option. The first option is mostly active, then mostly reactive, and third option is reactive only, and finally active and reactive both are equal. Actually, in case of three-phase short circuit in a system or a circuit, the power fed into the system is mostly reactive. So you can select option B. Option B is the right answer for this question. Okay. Now I would like to move on to the next question. The positive sequence component of a voltage at the point of fault is zero when it is a line to line fault, or you can call LL fault, then line to ground fault, then line double LG fault or LLG fault, and finally three phase fault. Actually, the positive sequence component of a voltage at the point of fault is zero when it is a three phase fault. Okay, it is a symmetrical fault, and you can state that three phase fault is the most severe fault. Okay, it is regarding the symmetrical fault. Among the symmetrical fault, three phase fault is the most severe fault. And for your information, I would like to inform you that the single line to ground fault, it is a most common fault. It is the most common fault. Okay. So this is the most severe fault. That point you have to remember. So in this question, in this regards, the positive sequence component of voltage at the point of fault is zero when it is a, which is the right answer? Obviously, the right answer is the three phase fault. You can go for the option number D, three phase fault. Okay, regarding LLG fault, LLG fault is the most severe fault in case of unsymmetrical fault. In case of unsymmetrical fault, severe most fault. Okay, severe most fault in case of unsymmetrical fault. Unsymmetrical. Okay, unsymmetrical. You can note down separately. Clear? So these are the valuable points which will be helpful for the upcoming examination. Let me conclude. Most severe most fault in case of symmetrical fault is three phase fault. Most commonly occurring fault is line to ground fault. And most severe unsymmetrical fault is double LG fault. And the positive sequence component of the voltage at the point fault is zero when it is a three phase fault. This is a conclusion. Moving on to next question. Load flow study is carried out for option A, stability studies, option B, load frequency control, then system planning and fault calculation. Which would be the right answer? You can think on that. The right answer is load flow study, or you can call power flow study. So that is mainly carried out for system planning. So option C is the right answer. You can go for option C. So let me brief up about load flow studies or power flow study. Power flow study or load flow study is a numerical analysis of flow of electric power in an interconnected system. Okay. And moreover, it is a steady state analysis of power system network. And also I would like to state that it determines the operating state of a system for a given loading. So these are the specialty. So regarding the load flow studies, so we require a algorithm like a Newton-Raphson method or Gauss-Seidel method. Let me call load flow method for load flow studies. Load flow studies. Okay. Load flow methods for load flow methods studies, whatever it may be. So we require bus data. Okay, bus data is needed. And also we need line data. You can call line data. Line data. And we need the information on generator and information about the load, what type of load, what is the reactive power, all those things. Here, after conducting this load flow method by using GS, Newton-Raphson, fast decoupled method, you'll be able to get voltage magnitude, then voltage angle, okay, then real power, then you'll be getting the reactive power, then you'll be getting the power losses, all the information you'll be getting. Okay, this is just for your information. So before answering, at least you should know what is a load flow studies and try to learn the comparison between Newton-Raphson method, Gauss-Seidel method, all those things. Okay, and the slack bus, what do you mean by flat voltage start? Those information has to be collected. Moving on to question number 4. The unit protective schemes provide primary protection, remote protection, backup protection, simultaneous protection. Which is the right answer? Actually, unit protection means it is basically a primary protection. I can go for option A. Option A is the right answer. In case primary protection fails, the backup protection will be active. That it will be working out. Backup protection will be working out. And primary protection ensures the protection of transformer, transmission line, generators, etc. This point has to be remembered. Okay. I would like to move on to next question. The convergence characteristics of Newton-Raphson method for solving a load flow problem is quadratic, then linear in nature, geometric, and cubic. Which would be the right answer? Actually, according to NR method, it states that the values of root through NR method converges very slowly, and so I can go for option number B, that is linear in nature. Okay, convergence characteristics will be linear in nature because it calculates very slowly. That means rate of convergence of NR method is generally linear. It states that the values of root through NR method will be converges slowly. That point you have to remember. I can go for option B, linear. That is the right answer. Moving on to question number 6. The number of discs in a string of insulators for 400 kV AC overhead lines lies in the range of 15 to 16, 9 to 10, 22 to 23, and 32 to 33. Actually, there are 22 to 23 discs are required for 400 kV AC overhead lines. I should go for option number C, 22 to 23. That is the right answer. You can note down in your diary or notebook. Okay, so this is also important. I would like to move on. Question number 7. For a synchronous phase modifier, the load angle is 60 degree, 30 degree, 90 degree, and 0 degree. First, let me ask one question. What do you mean by synchronous phase modifier? So it is basically a synchronous motor. Okay. It is used to regulate the voltage in a transmission line. Actually, if you provide overexcitation, for a synchronous motor, if you provide overexcitation, it will act as a capacitor. And if you provide underexcitation, it will act as an inductor. It's a fact, general fact. So regarding the question, for synchronous phase modifier, the load angle will be absolutely 0 degree. I can go for option number D. Okay. It is a synchronous motor that runs without any mechanical load. So load angle that will be 0 degree. I can go for option D. Let me discuss next question. The diagonal elements of a nodal admittance matrix are strengthened by adding shunt inductances, then load, generators, shunt capacitors. Which would be the right answer? Actually, the diagonal elements of a node matrix are the sum of admittance involved at the respective bus. That's a definition. The diagonal element of a nodal admittance matrix are strengthened by adding shunt inductances, or you can call shunt reactor. So I can go for the diagonal elements of a nodal admittance matrix are strengthened by adding shunt reactor, or you can call shunt inductances. I can go for option number A without any doubt. On the opposite hand, I can tell you one point. The diagonal elements of a nodal admittance matrix are weakened by adding shunt capacitor. So this also another angle they may ask another type of question. So you can go for shunt capacitor if you want to weaken. Okay, if you want to weaken the nodal admittance matrix, you can add shunt capacitors. Okay, these are the most likely asked questions. Now I would like to discuss about another question. Theft of electricity is DL in dash of the Indian electricity rule. We have different sections like 134, 135, 136 and 137. Absolutely, the answer is 135. The theft of electricity is DL in the section 135. I can go for option number B. The last question is, find the number of insulator discs required in the string insulator if operating voltage is 220 kV and the maximum voltage of each disc is 11 kV. Which is the right answer? How many number of disc insulators are required? 20, 10, 13 and 21. So let me calculate. There is a thumb rule. So there is a formula. Number of insulated disc, let me call N. Number of insulated disc, that is equal to operating voltage per phase. Operating voltage per phase. Voltage per phase divided by maximum voltage at each disc. Maximum voltage at each disc. Okay. So operating voltage per phase. So this is actually the line voltage. This is VM. What I require is I need phase voltage. So consider it is a star connected system. What is the relation between line voltage and phase voltage? Line voltage is equal to √3 into phase voltage. √3 into phase voltage. So I wanted to calculate phase voltage. So how to calculate phase voltage? Phase voltage is equal to line voltage divided by √3. What is the line voltage? 220, right? So 220 kV, okay, by √3. This is the line voltage divided by the maximum voltage at each disc is how much? 11 kV. So you can solve it. If you solve, you will be getting almost, you can compute 11.547. 11.547. Okay, that is approximately equal to 12 number. Okay. As far as the safety is concerned, you can add one more disk. Along with that, you can add one more disk. So 12 plus 1. Next number you can select it. 12 plus. Here 12 is not available. So anyway, nearby 12, that will be 30. Because of safety concern, you have to add one more disk. So the right answer is 30. I can go for option number C. Third option is the right answer. Regarding the insulators, okay, for example, pin type insulator. One question you can expect: pin type insulator. Pin type. You can note down pin type insulator. It will be suitable up to 33 kV. 33 kV. Up to 33 kV, you can use pin type insulator. That point you have to remember. The second point is suspension type insulators. Another type is suspension type. So let me erase this. Suspension type. Suspension type insulator. Okay, you can note down. This will be helpful for you. Suspension type. That will be useful above 33 kV. In the range of 33 to 765 kV. 765 kV. When do you use the strain type insulator? Wherever river crossing or road crossing or railway crossings are occurred, you can go for strain type insulators. This range you can remember. This may be helpful for competitive examination. So we have discussed most important questions in the area of power system, and in the upcoming session also let me continue the same manner. So I request you to note down everything in a diary or particular notebook, which will be helpful at the end of the examination. At the last day, it will be really helpful. If you are having any questions, you can put up in the comment box. I'll revert. So finally, thank you very much for watching this video. And also, I have started another channel for non-technical questions. You can visit this channel also to get different non-technical questions which can be expected for different posts. Finally, thank you very much for your kind support.